The member for Heffron.
Mr Acting Speaker, I move that the amendment be amended to include these words: ensure that Moore Park remains under the control of the Centennial Park and Moore Park Trust. I'm sure the amendment I've just proposed would be acceptable to the government, particularly bearing in mind that everything that came out of the mouth of the member for Coogee is contained within the proposed amendment. Mr Acting Speaker, I thank the member for Sydney for moving this motion in relation to Centennial and Moore Park, because as a result of the recent redistribution, that area is now contained in the electorate of Heffron, is no longer contained in the seat of Sydney. However, because of some unfair application by the Parliamentary Remunerations Tribunal, he's got more electorate staff than I have, so it's probably appropriate that he writes it. He probably writes it. Would you want to give it a meeting? It's probably appropriate that he writes it out. Mr Acting Speaker, the Centennial and Moore Park is the quintessential People's Park. It's been dubbed the People's Park. And the way in which the government has, since 1811, when it was gifted to the people by Governor Macquarie, have sought to alienate part of that parkland is disgraceful. But it has been more disgraceful in the last few years in relation to its approach. Now, I may have only represented that area for a short period of time, but let me tell you, the attempts to commercialise both Centennial Park and Moore Park have been disgraceful. The conduct of both trusts have been disgraceful. I have no confidence in either of those trusts. Do you know, a month or so before the election, I was holding one of my normal mobile offices outside Centennial Park, simply meeting with a group of residents who are actually concerned about the commercialisation of that park, and a ranger comes and says that I can't stand in Robertson Road because Centennial Park owned Robertson Road and I have to move. So I and even a 75-year-old man have to move 100 metres because they claimed ownership of the road, which subsequently we found was not the case. Did you know what I found the next day? At the next day, because they thought somehow or other it was political, the next day, the member for Coogee and the then Minister for Environment, the member for Pittwater, are inside the park next to the water filming election ads within the park. Now, this is the sort of people that are managing the parkland who are trying to alienate it off. This is the Centennial Parkland Trust, just like the Moore Park Trust, are agents of the Liberal Party trying to extort money and hand over land to any particular vested interest that they can find, and they cannot even hide their agency before the election. When I can't stand on a public road talking to constituents, but the member for Coogee and the Environment Minister can run inside the park next to the water and get themselves filmed in an election ad. I have been inundated with complaints about the Centennial and Moore Park Trust in relation to the extorting Sydney schools. I have emails by the dozen in relation to the charges that they have applied to I'll tell you who they are. The sports, the PSSA. 17 schools can no longer use those lands and fields because of the extortionate charges. Kensington Public School, the school that used to be in your electorate, the member for Coogee, has been pleading for some sort of fee relief for increases, for the sorts of increases. Because the only thing that is on the agenda, is for you blokes to hand over Moore Park for synthetic fields so you can make money, hand over Moore Park to build some great big stadium and take the People's Park away from them.
The question, order, the gallery.